The most important piece of information you need to file your taxes is the social insurance number, which was a number introduced in the 1960s in Canada as a record keeper for your Canada Pension Plan account. And it's since evolved to include your account with the CRA. It's also used for employment insurance, EI, and other things. It's sort of the de facto Canadian national identifier number, even though Canada doesn't have a national ID card, unfortunately. But that's a topic for a different series of videos. So the social insurance number used to be issued on a card. It looks like this. That has since been phased out, and now it's just issued on a piece of paper. Where you go to Service Canada, or they'll print it out for you. When you apply for your social insurance number, they'll ask for something that proves your citizenship or eligibility. So your birth certificate. If you're a permanent resident, they'll ask for your PR card. If you're on a student visa, they'll ask for your visa as well as a passport for identification. They'll also need your birth date, and they'll ask for your parents' first and last names, which is used for identification purposes. Nowadays, the social insurance number is applied for you by your parents at birth. It comes as a package of things you can apply for all at the same time in one portal. This will be useful if you want to open a registered education savings plan or RESP, because you'll need the social insurance number to do so. Social insurance number, or is often called SIN number, even though the N in SIN stands for number. So really when you say that, what you're saying is social insurance number. I'll give it a pass because more likely if someone's asking about your sin, the next thing I'm going to talk about is how Jesus can save you or something like this. So sin number at least gives it some context. And this kind of recursive acronym always makes you think of this commercial, the CHIP Home Income Plan. So I think originally it was the Canadian Home Income Plan, and then they shortened it for, I guess, advertising purposes.
Then they heard about the CHIP Home Income Plan,
where the C stands for CHIP and HIP is Home Income Plan. So it's CHIP, Home Income Plan, where the C is also the recursive acronym. Anyway, it's a weird acronym. And I love this video, you know. Look how happy everyone is now. Thanks, CHIP Home Income Plan. So I'm not going to get into the details of how useful a financial vehicle the reverse mortgage is, but if a company is putting together a cheesy commercial like this, it automatically screams scam to me. There's probably some segment of society that would benefit from this to unlock the equity in their home. That's not what this series is about, though. So thanks to my friend Brian, who always brings up this CHIP Home Income Plan as an example of a funny acronym. Anyway, so social insurance number is used for filing your taxes. And within this 9-digit number itself, there's some information you can glean from it just by looking at the number. So the first thing you can figure out is if it's a temporary or permanent social insurance number. If it starts with a 9, it means this is a temporary social insurance number. This is issued to people who are in Canada on a work permit or a student visa or some other temporary permit. And when these people, if they choose to do so, become a permanent resident, then they will apply for a permanent social insurance number, which will replace the old one. And the CRA in the back end will link those together. The second thing you can tell from a social insurance number is the geographic area where it was first issued. If it starts with a 1, it's somewhere in Atlantic Canada. If it's 2 or 3, it's somewhere in Quebec. 4 and 5 is Ontario. 6 is the middle chunk of Canada and the Northwest Territories. And 7 is for the West Coast, so Yukon and British Columbia. 8 is reserved for some business accounts, and 0 is for other special CRA accounts. Another feature of the number itself is that it has some built-in error checking, and this follows what's called the Luhn algorithm, and it's basically a system to prevent accidental typos or transposition of characters in an account number, in this case your social insurance number. And it's used by many different account numbers. Credit card numbers often use a similar error checking system to prevent incorrect input. What the Luhn algorithm does is it multiplies every second digit by 2, adds all the numbers together, and if that result is divisible by 10, then it's a valid number. So in this spreadsheet, we're going to input a random 9-digit number in this top row, and then every other digit we're going to multiply by 2. So we'll just drag down the first one here, multiply the next one by 2, and if the multiplication results in the number going over 9, so now it's 2 digits, if it's over 9, subtract 9. We then take these numbers, sum them up, and then we use the modulus function, which is mod. This function, you provide the number and the number you want to divide it by, and it returns the remainder. So we're divided by 10 in this case for the Luhn algorithm, and this function returns the remainder of that division. So we're trying to get this remainder to 0. So we'll just play with the numbers here until this modulus function returns 0, and that's how we know that the social insurance number is good. So maybe you're an aspiring filmmaker who wants to include a character who is an accountant perhaps, here's a way for you to create realistic social insurance numbers for that purpose. All other uses of this information I can't really condone.